Howdy, howdy. My name is Will Chernos. This is episode 1 of the Working Progress podcast. Um, Today's topic is going to be on the future of work and how I think it should be changed based on a bunch of different readings that I've done for whatever reason. Um, all right, so there's two different pieces that we're going to bring up in this episode. Lincoln's address before the Wisconsin State Agricultural Fair, and also Noam Chomsky's work. Specifically, Lincoln's goes over the mudsill theory and how he disagrees with that, and Noam Chomsky's work is going to be focusing on the undesirable work, which would fall under mudsill. Um, but before any of that, I wrote a research paper for covering a completely different topic. It was, oh man, I don't know how I'm blanking on this, but a lot of the things I talked about there was minimum wage. And so obviously, there are a bunch of different people who were saying, oh, 4 day work week, 10-hour days, everyone gets more free time. Sure, you could do that. It might be nice to have a 3-day weekend. I don't see how that's really addressing the actual problem though, which is minimum wage. Is that minimum wage, especially in the U.S., especially really anywhere, is often way lower than it should be. Like the federal minimum wage in the U.S. is 7.25, even though studies have shown it should be somewhere around what I remember reading somewhere $21. But what everyone wants is a $15 minimum wage. And so the ideal work for me would be that everywhere has not only a $15 minimum wage, but also that $15 would be tied to the rate of inflation like Obama said he was going to do. But yeah, so they would tie that to inflation so that gets to it never falls behind again, you know? In a perfect world, the large corporations would not only pay more, but they would give the benefits that they do right now to justify giving less. And a huge thing for me is that benefits and tips, benefits and tips from the consumers, the buyers, can't be used to supplement getting a wage lower than minimum. Is that it's not up to it's up to the owners. The owners have to guarantee that workers are at the minimum wage. It shouldn't be up to how well they do or rely on the consumer to supplement it and get them to above the $15 hourly. So another thing I want to talk about is the Lincoln speech, the mudsill theory, right? Is that there needs to be a lower class to do the dirty work, the jobs that no one wants to do. So in Lincoln's time, it was slaves. Now it would be minimum wage workers or workers doing like, garbage jobs, that kind of stuff like that. And Noam Chomsky, he says that the undesirable work should be made meaningful. How that would be, I'm unsure. Probably the stigma of undesirable work being for undesirable people needs to go out the window. Um, and also, you need to, if possible, find people who enjoy that type of work. Is that people need to be satisfied in their work, whether that be because they're helping society run smoothly or whether they're just unbothered by it. They're like, oh, I can do this and other people can't. That makes me feel good. So back to Lincoln's mudsill, his way of combating that was saying that all workers should get a minimum level of education, which modern now, I would dare say, yeah, a lot of workers are getting that level of education that Lincoln was talking about. Like, plenty of high school graduates, the argument could be made that university and college educations are expected for like white collar jobs and anything as such, and even blue collar work, which a lot of white collar workers kind of look down upon. They have to go through apprenticeships and get their license, and they are trained. They are, some would even say, more specialized in that. Is that not anyone could just pick up a toolbox and go be a mechanic or go do electrician's work? Is that it's really complicated. Um, Combating, connecting back to Noam Chomsky's work, um, in order to give the way that we can give meaning to undesirable jobs is either through the respect of them and thanking them and really, appreciating them, or just pay higher than minimum wage, because it's work that not many people would want to do, as seen by the public opinion of not only the work but its workers too, you know? And so basically, it's up to public opinion, really. So to sum it all up, everything that I said so far, I would want my ideal work, how I would change work, would be a higher minimum wage. Um, you need to also, I didn't mention this, but just workers need more say, and they need to not get the benefits that they deserve. They need to get the pay. Pay needs to be tied to inflation. But also, all workers need to be respected for the work that they do. It's complicated. It's not an easy job. There's a lot of specialization to it. Um, yeah, that's everything. So next episode, if I choose to make one, is probably going to be covering, I don't know, my experience in unionization, because my co-op is unionized. Yay!